What's going on, guys? Today I got a really cool video. Got a Chinese M1 Carbine manufactured at the Mukden or Shenyang Arsenal in Manchuria, China. These were trial rifles slash prototype rifles. According to my research, only 250 of these were ever manufactured, and I've only laid eyes on 4 including this one, and a supposed serial number 239, although I can't find any pictures of that one. So far as I know, there's only 4 of these known to be around. I'm gonna do 2 videos on this. I'm gonna do a historical deep dive on it, and then this video, which is gonna be a disassembly and quick look at the markings, primarily for research purposes. For anybody who wants to do their research, this will be the place to do it. This one is gonna be, from what I can tell, the only occurrence of one of these being fully taken apart. So definitely want to stick around and watch this video, because who knows what we might find under the hood. So yeah, feel free to like and subscribe, and let's crack into this puppy.
Welcome to The Big Picture. I'm Captain Carl Zimmerman. The Big Picture is a report to you from your Army, an Army committed by you, the people of the United States, to stop communist aggression wherever it may strike. The Big Picture traces the course of events in the Korean campaign, first-hand reports of our combat veterans, and through film taken by combat cameramen of the Army Signal Corps. These are the men who daily record on film the big picture as it happens, where it happens. Today, the Big Picture brings into focus the entrance of the Chinese Reds into the Korean War. You'll see our soldiers battling winter cold as well as communists. You'll see how we save thousands of lives by the quick evacuation of our wounded by helicopter. And you'll see a display of weapons, the finest weapons in the world, the weapons of your United States Army. And you'll hear from Corporal Bill Carpenter and Major Joseph Donahue, who saw action with the Army Infantry in Korea. And now, let's go back to October 1950.
On 20 October, United Nations troops have seemingly sent the bulk of the communist forces fleeing in defeat toward the Manchurian border, 100 miles to the north. From west to east, U.S., British, and South Korean troops are pursuing the disintegrating communist forces. By 27 October, South Korean troops have reached the Manchurian border on the Yellow River near Chosan, and other UN forces have advanced against virtually no opposition. But on the same day, a sudden, unforeseen factor changes the entire course of the war. Chinese communist troops cross the Manchurian border and help the North Korean Reds drive back UN forces. Chinese communists fighting in Korea are estimated at 75,000, with another 500,000 across the border in Manchuria posing a more serious threat. By 8 November, UN forces have been driven back considerably. But on this date, another unforeseen event occurred. Chinese and North Korean communist troops suddenly break off contact with United Nations forces and fight only rear guard delaying actions as once again UN troops drive toward the Manchurian border. On 20 November, another United Nations unit reaches the Manchurian border. This time it is a United States unit, the first U.S. outfit to reach the border. As United Nations troops continue to advance in other areas, much depends on what the huge Chinese army will do next. The first sign of the growing threat from China. Captured in East Coast battles 50 miles from the Manchurian border, these troops belong to Chinese Red Army divisions in the combat zone. Chinese and North Korean captives are brought out of the hills to Wonsan and Hamhung. The Chinese are better clothed than their North Korean comrades. With their quilted uniforms, they wear tennis shoes wrapped in layers of burlap, making a kind of shoe pack. In contrast with the Chinese, the North Koreans are in rags at this stage of the war. The prisoners double time across the Wonsan airfield. They are being marched to landing craft, which will take them to Busan. Since the beginning of the war, the North Koreans have suffered 460,000 casualties, including the dead, wounded, and captured. 130,000 Red prisoners have been taken at this time. 2 women are in this group. Prisoners of the UN are treated in strict compliance with international law. Over 25,000 men have been wounded in Korea, but less than 2% of these men have died. Less than 2 men out of every 100 wounded. The main reason for this low death rate is the speed of treatment. This is a battalion aid station, first stop in a wounded man's swift journey through the echelons of medical aid. The average time spent at a battalion aid station is only 72 minutes. Many types of transportation are used in evacuation to the next echelon, the regimental collecting station. Specially equipped jeeps are used in rough terrain near the front. But if the roads are serviceable, ambulances may be used. Air evacuation is fastest of all and enables certain medical channels to be skipped. Behind the collecting stations are division clearing stations and mobile hospitals. Medical care takes manpower. It takes several men to carry a litter. Evacuation procedures are similar throughout the service. The Navy provides medical service for the Marines. The results of speed have been shown by a hospital at Busan. Out of 18,000 wounded brought in during the first 3 months of the war, only 40 men died. Field expedient. Wooden stands instead of tables speed the movement of litters and allow the aid men to work at hand level without bending over. There is nothing fancy about these hospitals. They are there to save lives. The death rate of wounded in World War I was 8%. In World War II, it was 4.5%. Korea's approximate 2% death rate is a milestone in military medicine. Many casualties are evacuated by air to Japan. In a parachute drop, such as the 4,000-man jump north of Pyongyang in October, the parachutists' own medics jump with them. They carry enough medical supplies to last until contact is made with friendly forces. But even before contact is made, the injured may be evacuated from the drop zone by air. Helicopters with specially constructed containers carry the wounded out. Many a man who could not have survived a jeep or ambulance ride over the rough roads of Korea owes his life to these evacuation planes. Japan is the next stop from the hospitals in Korea. Japan is only an hour and a half away from Korea by plane, but less than half of the incoming wounded remain here. The rest are moved on to the United States. Many men wounded at the front lines in Korea have found themselves back in the United States 3 days later.
Our Army helicopters are saving thousands of lives in Korea. Corporal William Carpenter of the Army 7th Division is with us to tell us a little about them. Bill, you saw a good deal of the helicopters, didn't you?
Yes, I did. First time I seen a helicopter evacuation was up in North Korea when my buddy got hit. Well, it so happens I helped bring another wounded person down off the hill to the aid station, and while I was down at the aid station, I met my buddy. The helicopter had come in, and they were getting ready to put my buddy on the helicopter. But when they put him on, he asked the pilot whether or not he was going to get air in there. And the pilot told him that he was going to have fresh air and heat.
Did they jog him around, didn't
No, sir, it didn't.
they? Good smooth ride back to medical aid, huh?
Yes, sir.
Well, now, you were with the 7th Division, Bill, and the drive north, that went pretty rapidly. And then about the middle of November, something happened. What was that?
Well, sir, that was the whole change of the war. The Chinese had jumped in, and at that time we were in reserve. We didn't know much about it, but about a week later, we had our first encounter with them. At that time, we found out that the Chinese were better trained, they were smarter in their tactics, they had better firepower than the North Koreans.
Better soldiers all around, huh?
Yes, sir, they were.
Well, you saw a lot of winter weather in Korea, Bill. How were you able to keep warm?
Well, most of the time we were on the move, and we kept warm that way, but after we stopped, we tried building fires until it was dark. After dark, we'd climb in our sleeping bags, and that's the way we'd keep warm.
Keep dressed in those sleeping bags, ready for any attack?
Yes, sir, we kept the clothes on all the time.
Uh-huh. Well, how about our weapons in this extreme cold weather, Bill?
Well, our automatic weapons, they get froze up quite a bit during the winter time, so you have to keep working them most of the time at night time. But our M1 was always there when we needed it.
You like that M1 pretty well, then?
Yes, sir, I do.
Mm-hmm. Well, if we must build weapons for war, Bill, let's build the best. And our Army ordnance, our American industry and labor are doing just that.
At Aberdeen Proving Ground, Maryland, members of the American Ordnance Association meet for an annual exhibition put on by the U.S. Army Ordnance Department. They see both U.S. and foreign equipment.
Okay guys, well I hope you enjoyed watching as much as I enjoyed cleaning it. There's some pretty cool stuff we found in there. Did not expect a barrel to come off like that, so that's certainly interesting. But regardless, like I said, look out for the historical video where you'll know more about the Chinese production in particular, specifically the Chinese produced M1 carbines, not U.S. supplied to China. Totally different ball game. So glad to be taking care of it for the next generation. So look out for that next video.